Welcome to Mysteries of the Word, where we explore the Bible's biggest questions and the mysteries hidden in Scripture. If you want to grow in your faith and understand the Bible better, make sure to subscribe. Today, we're asking, why did God allow His chosen people to be taken from their land and exiled in Babylon? Was it just politics or something deeper? Let's travel back to one of the darkest moments in Israel's history, the Babylonian exile. Long before the exile, God made a covenant with His people. He promised the land to Abraham's descendants forever, but He also called them to obey Him alone. In the law, God gave clear warnings. If Israel followed God, they would live safely in the land. But if they turned away, the land would be taken from them. You can see this in Deuteronomy 28. So the land was not just a home. It was a gift tied to their relationship with God. For hundreds of years, God sent prophets like Isaiah, Micah, and Jeremiah to warn the people. But Judah's kings and many of the people worshipped idols like Baal and Asherah, ignored God's law, oppressed the poor and the powerless, trusted political alliances instead of trusting God. God was patient. He waited. But eventually the covenant curses had to come true. Babylon was rising as the most powerful empire in the world. God allowed Nebuchadnezzar to conquer Judah, not because Babylon was righteous, but because God was disciplining His people. There were three major deportations. 605 BC, young nobles like Daniel were taken. 597 BC, King Jehoiakim and thousands more. 586 BC, Jerusalem and the temple were destroyed. This was the moment everything changed. The people lost their king, their city, their temple, and they were marched hundreds of miles to Babylon. Even though they were far from home, God did not abandon them. The prophet Ezekiel saw visions of God's glory in Babylon, showing that God was still with His people. Daniel rose to a high position in the empire and showed that God is greater than any kingdom. And Jeremiah gave a message of hope. The exile would last 70 years, and then God would bring them home. This wasn't the end of the story. It was a turning point. During the exile, Israel finally learned. Worshipping idols only leads to destruction. God's presence isn't limited to a temple. His promises are real, including His discipline, and His mercy always leads to restoration. The exile purified their faith. When they returned home, they never again turned to idols the way they once did. In 539 BC, God raised up a new ruler, Cyrus the Great of Persia. He conquered Babylon and let the Jews go home to rebuild Jerusalem and the temple. This began the Second Temple period, the world Jesus would later enter. Even in judgment, God was preparing the way for the Messiah. So why did Judah lose the land? Because they broke the covenant God made with them. The exile was a wake-up call, but also a sign of God's faithfulness. He disciplines, but He also restores. If you learned something new today, hit like and share this with someone who loves Bible history. And don't forget to subscribe to Mysteries of the Word for more deep dives into the Bible and the mysteries that shape our faith. What topic should we explore next?